Hey guys, what's up? It is Andrew here with Just Diesels, and today I'm gonna give you my top 5 tips for changing oil in a 5.9 Cummins. This is gonna apply to all of your trucks from 2003 to early 2007 with the 5.9 Cummins. So yeah, let's get into this. These are my top tips on how to change an oil. I'm gonna run you through basically the whole oil change process and give you some of my favorite tips along the way. So to start out, make sure your truck is hot. You wanna drive your truck around so it's fully to temperature. Basically what that's gonna do is change the viscosity of the oil so that you can have all of the soot and everything you're trying to get out of the oil when you change it in full suspension in the oil. Then you're gonna go open up on the top of your engine here, the valve cover. You're gonna open up the oil fill cap so you don't make a vacuum or that vacuum can be released. Then you're gonna go down below the truck and start draining the oil. Now, my first tip with an oil change is to get a Fumoto drain valve. I love mine so much. It is so easy to change oil. You literally just flip the little spring-loaded lever and open it up. You're not juggling a red hot drain plug when you're trying to change your oil, and it's so much cleaner and less messy. So definitely worth it. And I know a lot of people complain that, a stick can come up and open it, but because of that spring-loaded lever, it'd have to be one really talented stick to open it. So I think you're totally fine. My second tip is O'Reilly sells these cool drain pans that have caps on either end. So you can actually drain everything into that pan and close the cap so it's a fully sealed thing that you can go dispose of the oil. So that is another awesome thing. So I drop that under the truck, open the drain valve, and you're good to go. Once the oil is drained, your next step is going to be removing the filter off the truck. Now, a lot of people complain about access on these 5.9 Cummins. The easiest thing that you can do to make access better is pull the intake tube. So the tube that goes from your intake to your turbo, it's literally 2 bolts that hold that on with a flathead screwdriver. Just pull that thing off and you'll have perfect access to the oil filter. This also gives you the ability to check for contamination in your intake tube from your intake. So let's say your filter isn't filtering well, you can feel in there and see if there's dirt or soot buildup, and you know right away if something's going wrong. The other thing it gives it access to is the turbo. So you can actually check and see if you have play in the shaft. So you can pull the shaft in and out and left to right and see if you have play going on in your turbo inlet shaft. Now, a little bit of play is normal, but if you have excessive lateral play or fore aft play, then you're gonna be probably looking at your turbo. So it's good to check that every oil change, and pulling that intake tube lets you do that. Next, we're gonna be pulling off the oil filter. Now, I like to use a filter wrench for that. Definitely makes things easier, especially if someone else has changed your oil before you. A lot of times people tighten those oil filters too much. So using a filter wrench like this, especially one that is adjustable like that, so you have 90 degrees of movement, you can really get in there. I like to climb up on the passenger side tire on top of there, just reach in and loosen the filter. So that makes the whole process a lot easier. Next, what you're gonna be doing is pre-filling the new filter. So you're gonna take the new filter, put it on a bench, and pre-fill it with oil. Now, before you go and put that filter on the truck, you need to check 2 things. One, you need to make sure that that filter, that ring on the filter, the seal, has a little bit of oil on it. And the second thing you need to check is that the old ring from your old filter came off of the block. I've seen way too many horror stories on the forums of people leaving the seal ring on their block and basically double stacking those seals, and they don't seal, and they lose all the oil in the truck and the engine goes. So just make sure you double check that. It's a silly little thing, but it's something that is good to check. Another really good thing to check is that when you're pouring in the oil to the filter and to your engine itself, you wanna make sure that the little tinfoil wrap that's on the top of the cap is all gone. I've also heard a lot of horror stories of people having a little piece of tinfoil that goes into the oil and plugs up the oil passages in your block. So just definitely like little things to check while you're doing it so you don't have any problems down the road. So we'll go ahead and put that new filter on. And while we're at it, let's actually talk about oil filters and oil. This is something that everyone loves to debate: what oil to run, what filter to run. When it comes to filter, basically run the best thing you can buy. It's not a good time to skimp. Definitely this is something that's important for the health of your engine, so buy the nicest thing that you can afford. I really like these Amsoil filters. They have a huge lifespan on them, way longer than I run my oil changes, and they're a really high quality filter that's designed to truly filter out some of the smallest particulates that are in your oil. When it comes to the oil type, you're gonna run a 15W40. Now, there's tons of debate over like whether you should run a non-synthetic, like a traditional oil, a synthetic blend, or a full synthetic. I've run all 3, and I've done oil analysis with Blackstone Labs, and there like truly is a difference between the 3. So I was running a semi-synthetic blend, the Shell Rotella stuff, and Diesel Oil Guy, aka Adrian, hit me up on Instagram. He's an Amsoil rep and said I should try this stuff. Initially, I was a little bit skeptical because it's really expensive, but I figured I'd give it a shot and run an oil analysis test on it, and I was actually blown away with the results. Wear metals were way down, the friction reducers were up. Basically, everything that's good in the oil was up, and everything that's bad was down from my previous oil sample. So I could actually run about 3,000 to 4,000 more miles on this, being conservative, and if I wanted to really push it, I could actually do 10,000 mile oil changes on this stuff, according to Blackstone Laboratories testing. So that's pretty cool. I've been changing this between 5,000 and 7,000. Right now we're doing a 5,000 mile oil change. I just like being safe. Why not? This truck actually ends up sitting quite a bit, so I figure I may as well change it. So that said, let's get into this thing. We'll put the new oil in the truck. Basically, the fill process is pretty simple. These trucks take just shy of 3 gallons of oil. It kind of depends on the size of your oil filter, how much you actually put in. So you're gonna want to add to about 2 3/4 jugs. Once you're at that 3/4 jug, you're gonna let everything sit, go to the pan, then you're gonna check with your dipstick and then slowly add more as time goes on. Once you're sure that you are set, you're halfway up that dipstick, start the truck, check for leaks, make sure everything's good. Turn the truck off. You're gonna wait about 20 minutes for everything to settle back into the pan and then recheck your oil level. You want it to be about halfway up that dipstick so that you know you're good. So yeah, that is my tips and tricks for oil changes on a 5.9 Cummins. Hopefully that helps you guys out. And again, if you're trying to decide what oil to run in your truck, I can honestly say that the full synthetics, particularly this Amsoil full synthetic, is one of the best oils that I've run. The lifespan is better, the friction reducers are better, the wear metals that are left are lower, and so I'm pretty confident that it's actually preserving the life of my engine and taking good care of all the bearings and wear surfaces in that engine. So again, if you have any questions, comment them below. I'd be happy to help you guys out, and please subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. I will be working really hard to make some good stuff for you guys. I'm tired of all the junk content on YouTube for diesel trucks, so I'm making an effort to make some good stuff. So thank you so much for watching this video, and catch you next time.